Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Cal K. Today we're going to be doing the annual rod and reel arsenal, where I go over every single rod and reel that I'll be using for this year and going over why I have them and what I use them for. So I'm going to be starting with spinning rods first. I'm going to go from lightest to the heaviest action. And first one on the list, we have a 610 medium light Expride with a 3000 size Vanford. I got 8 pound 832 suffix on this, the high vis green. I like the bright stuff. I use this rod for little Ned rigs mostly, little swim baits too. It's great for that. I like it on the Mississippi when you're skipping under trees and stuff, which I do a lot of. And the shorter 610 length works really well for that, for close combat scenarios. So next up on the list is a 7-foot medium Zodius spinning rod with a 3000 size Vanford with 8 pound 832 suffix, high vis green. And this is going to kind of be a do-all rod. You can throw Senkos on it, you can throw tubes on it, you can throw net on it, Nico if you need to. There's a lot of things you can do with this rod. And that's kind of, you guys will see, but that's kind of what most of my spinning rods are, just do-alls. But they'll do all like different things. I can wacky on every single rod, but you can also do a lot of different things on a rod that you can wacky on. You know, I consider a rod that I wacky rig on the same rod that I can net on. That's just how I feel. I know a lot of people feel differently about that. They would want some more technique specific rods, but I think like a spinning rod to me is like a spinning rod is a spinning rod to a spinning rod for the most part. Once I get into my casting rods, that's when technique gets a little more specific. But that's that 7-foot medium do-all. Next is another do-all rod. This is a 702 Sierra Dobbins, paired with a 2500 Daiwa Legalis with that 8 pound 832 suffix high vis green. And this reel for the money, I think comes in at about 80 bucks. Phenomenal reel. It was one of my favorite reels. Unfortunately, I discovered the Vanfords and Stradics, so I'm kind of screwed there. Now I got to use those. But this Legalis, great budget reel, absolutely phenomenal. This is just another do-all rod. It says dart heads, drop shots, shaky heads, and tubes. You can do just about anything on this rod, and I've been using this rod for the last 3 seasons. And my favorite thing to do on it was actually throwing a weighted wacky. It's a little on the light side, but you beef up the line a little bit, you don't gotta worry about it. So this has been a super fun rod. This has a special place in my heart just because I've had it for so long. These other rods, these new Shimano rods, and well, you guys will see the other one, but that's new to me. This is the first year I'll be running a whole bunch of Zodiuses and Exprides. I've had 2 up until this year, and now I think I have 8. So it's a little bit of a change, kind of revamp the whole arsenal. But this rod, it's a good rod, $179. So here is another rod, a new rod that is new to me that I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do with it. I'm definitely not gonna be throwing jerkbaits with it, but it is the 852 NRX. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of above everything I've been doing. If you guys have seen any of the other rod and reel videos, I haven't had an NRX, but paired with another Vanford. This rod seems to be another do-all rod. I think it's 7-1 medium, which to me sounds like a very do-all rod. It's extra fast, so I think I'll just be doing do-all with this. Maybe Jigworm, Nico. It's incredibly light. If you guys can get your hands on an NRX, which I'm sure some of you guys that are watching probably have like 10 and just like, yeah, screw this kid, this little broke ass. But it's an insane light combo with a 3000 size Vanford. It's crazy light, like a scary light. Like I'm scared to set the hook light. But 852 NRX. So that was 1 medium light and 3 mediums. So we have to move up to the medium heavies. This is a 7-foot medium heavy Zodius with a 3000 size Stradic. So this is going to be more of a workhorse heavier rod. Maybe throwing bigger tubes, bigger swim baits possibly, maybe throwing thicker grass when you're throwing that weighted wacky in. I'm not really sure. I haven't really dabbled in a medium heavy spinning rod a whole lot, but kind of really excited for this rod. And then I threw a Stratic on it just because it's going to be more of a workhorse rod, more power and stuff. Them Vanfords are great, but the Stratic is a little beefier. So I really don't know what I'm going to, what line I'm going to throw on this. I'm thinking 10 pound high vis 832. So it's just going to be a workhorse rod. I don't know. I'm excited to try these out though. These Zodiuses are legit. I love the monocoque handle here. They're just a cool looking rod. With the Vanfords, they're sick. Alright, so starting off with the medium action casting rods. Don't have a ton, but first one is a 705 Dobbins Colt. This is, it's not my favorite rod. It's not my least favorite rod, but it's by far not my favorite rod. I bought it for throwing jerkbaits, and it's a little too whippy. Like it's soft. You know, I'm kind of coming up with this on the spot, but I think this is going to be a spook rod, maybe a small plopper rod. I do have a regular SLX 8.2 to 1 gear ratio with 30 pound braid. So this could just be maybe even buzzbait or something. I need a soft cranking rod. This will be good for small crankbaits too. I just don't have one. I don't throw them a lot, but I just feel like I need one. Like if there'll be one day where I'll be throwing cranks, or someone in my boat will be throwing cranks and just catching them, and I'd wish that I had a crankbait rod. But it's not something I'm going to go out and look for. Next we have a 7.1 medium St. Croix Bass X paired with a SLX XT. I got 15 pound test on this. This is kind of just a dual rod too. I was throwing flukes on it last year. Other than that, little swim baits. We'll just jig head with a swim bait. It's kind of not a whole lot. I've thrown Neds on it. It wasn't great for Neds, but I've done it. It's kind of just a cruddy rod I can take with if I'm going on a trip with someone else's boat or something. Take my car. Just kind of filler. Alright, so now we're getting into the jerkbait rods. This is a 6.8 medium extra fast St. Croix Bass X paired with the SLX XT. That is the 8 gear, and this was my first jerkbait rod, my first dedicated jerkbait rod. It's been good to me. I like throwing the normal size 200, 300 size jerkbaits on it. I haven't thrown 110s on it yet, but I'm hoping to this year. It's just a good jerkbait rod. If nothing else, I can throw flukes on it or something, or just lighter jigs maybe. Obviously not ultra sensitive, being that it's in the Bass X line of St. Croix, but I think it would do the trick. Like another cruddy rod I could take with my car and just go sling around somewhere. Nice and short. Could skip with it if I wanted to. So sticking with the jerkbait game, we have a 610 medium Zodius here paired with a SLX 70. That's the 7 gear. Got 12 pound test on this. This is gonna be my, well, you guys will find out. This is gonna be my secondary jerkbait combo. You guys can see it's brand new. I still haven't taken the tags off, but I'm excited to use this. First year using it, obviously. It says 1/4 to 3/4 ounces, so it'll be perfect for when I want to throw a 200, 300 size deep diving KVDs, whatever you want to throw on this. 110, 110 plus. It should be great for all that. With this SLX 70, I've been using this reel for a couple of years. Absolutely love it. As one of the smoothest reels that you can buy for $180, $190. Just performed awesomely. Extremely light rod. These Zodiuses blow me away so much. I always heard things about the Exprides, and I had Exprides before I had the Zodiuses. But these Zodiuses are just another level of light too. If I would have found the Zodiuses first, I probably would have had a whole line of the Zodiuses. But yeah, so second jerkbait rod. And then the main jerkbait rod is a 610 medium Expride. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get in trouble here with having 3 medium jerkbait rods. A lot of people like to use a medium heavy or something for the heavier, bigger jerkbaits, but I've thrown bigger jerkbaits on that 6.8 medium Bass X, and I just prefer the same rod for it all, so I think I'll be fine. And then I got the Corrado 70, the XG on there. Great reel. I've only felt it a few times. I obviously haven't fished with it yet, being that it's freaking cold out and ice is on the freaking lakes. Minnesota has regulations and stuff. But great compact reel, fits super well in my hand. Left hand retrieve obviously, because that's how I am. And this rod just feels amazing. I picked it up a few weeks ago. I couldn't believe how light it was. Like, just nothing. So looking forward to that. Gotta get my jerkbait on this year. If I got 3 rods, it better be putting them to work. But I love jerkbaiting. Brent, who fishes with me a lot, he loves jerkbaiting too. It's just a super good pre-spawn way to catch a bunch of fish and put them in the boat. And there's nothing better than when you're just hammering on that jerkbait and just stops and it's too good. Now we're gonna move into the medium heavies. Alright, so first rod we're gonna start off with in the medium heavy category. It'll be 7.2 medium heavy Zodius. Right now it's paired with a regular SLX. I'm gonna be putting a Corrado 200K on it. This is just gonna be dual rod. I can throw little finesse jigs on it. I can throw jigs up to a ½ ounce. Spinnerbaits, chatterbaits, lipless if I need to. Topwater, spooks, ploppers, really anything you want. That's what's great about a medium heavy, and that 7.2 length is perfect. I mean, you could go down to 7 foot, 7.5, but 7.2 is a good length for everything. I could skip docks with this too. It's just gonna be a fun little rod. I'm excited about this one. Haven't used it yet. Again, all these Zodiuses I haven't used yet. So I'm super excited about that. I love playing with rods. Ha! Gay! And Zodiuses are really fun to play with. So another do-all. So here we have a 7.2 medium heavy Expride. As you guys can see, I overlap a lot of models, and that is because I just love. When I find one I like, I really like it. So the 7.2 medium heavy, I put in a lot of work last year throwing Kitech finesse jigs, like ½ ounce. Smallies are just crushing them, and this rod did so good on it. I've thrown swim jigs on it too. So I just wanted to pick up that Zodius just to go hand in hand with this if I wanted to throw 2 different colored jigs and not have to worry about retying. So that's where that is. And then with them jerkbait rods, same deal. You can throw multiple jerkbaits at the same time without retying. Different depths, different colors. It's kind of just being lazy, but if you can afford it and do it, I mean, whatever, I do it. Paired with an SLX XT. I'm planning to have 30-pound braid on this to a 15 to 17-pound fluorocarbon leader. Very basic, just do everything. Same with that Zodius on that Corrado K that's going on there. So neither do all. So speaking of overlapping models, here I have an NRX 854 paired with a Corrado DC, and the reason I say overlapping models is because, hold up, don't want to break nothing. I also have an IMX Pro 854. So that's paired with an SLX XT that the IMX Pro is. Great jig rod. I used it a lot for jigs last year. Great skipping rod. Yeah, just fun. I don't know how to explain a fun rod, but when you have a fun rod, you know it's a fun rod. And when you have a fun rod, when you're able to sit back and be like, yeah, this is a fun rod, that's when you know you like tackle and shit. It's like, yeah, that was a fun rod. Yeah, that's a fun lure to throw. That was just a fun rod. Just setting the hook, casting with it, it's a fun rod. So I had to double down and get the NRX 854. Paired with the Corrado DC. I've had this DC for 7 seasons or so. No, not quite 7. I've had it for 3 or 4. And I don't know, I just wanted to see what the NRX was like. Obviously I got a spinning rod too, but this is my first year with these two. And it's a little bit scary good. I'm a little bit honest there. It's a little scary good. I don't know what I'd do if I just like this combo way too much. I can't afford to keep buying NRXs. I actually traded them for I had 3 Megabass P5s, traded them for 2 NRXs, and you guys will see another combo that I got. Yeah, so this should be another fun jig rod, up to 3/4 ounce. I probably won't ever hit 3/4 ounce with this, probably more around half. But I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a fun year. But so that covers my medium heavies. I believe those 854s are classified as heavy, but I don't put them in the heavy category. So we're gonna move up into the heavy category. So kicking off with the heavy is something really freaking heavy. This is a broomstick. This is actually a wooden broomstick for playing pool. It's a 711 extra heavy Expride. This is a flipping stick, navy big swim baits on it. What's it say? Rated up to 3 ounces. So not huge swim baits, but you can throw some glides on it, maybe a mag draft. I don't know, it seems pretty damn stiff. Paired with a Sitica, gonna have a 65-pound braid on here. This just flipping stick, just heavy shit you gotta get in. Bring out the old broomstick. Alright, next is my 7.2 heavy X-Pride. This rod I have had for a while. This was my first X-Pride. And I did break the tip on it the first year I got it. So I got a little bit shorter. It's basically a 7.1 heavy plus. Paired with a Corrado K, because the old trusty Corrado K could never go wrong. 20-pound braid on here. I did have problems losing fish last year. 20-pound braid? No, I have 20-pound fluorocarbon on here. I had problems with braid last year because the tip is not as soft as it should be because it's broken, and that braid was kind of pulling the hook out, so I got fluorocarbon on here. This is mainly my 1/2 ounce jig rod, 1/2 ounce to 3/4. Works great for that. Throw some big dark sleepers on it. You can do a whole lot. A lot of these rods though, you can kind of just do a whole lot. A lot of jig stuff. I like throwing jigs, bottom contact stuff. And then the last heavy rod here, 7.3 extra heavy X-Pride, paired with a Corrado K. Got 50-pound Power Pro braid on there. This rod is my favorite summer rod because when I have this out, this means I'm throwing frogs. This is basically only my frog rod. I couldn't imagine there being a better frog rod on the market. This rod is just sick, just stupid light. It doesn't make any sense how light it is. And it's amazing. Last year was probably my best season frog-wise, and couldn't imagine it's not because of this, or partially because of this rod. So, honestly, if I could recommend one rod for you guys to pick up, just because it's so freaking fun. 7.3 extra heavy. I also throw little glides on it. But now we're going to move into my cranking slower rods. Here we have a 7.8 medium heavy cranking rod. There's a Mojo Bass, St. Croix. And this is for my bigger 6XDs, 8XDs. Won't go any bigger than that. Just a big cranking rod. Got a 200 size Sitica in there with 12-pound red label Seagar. It's a big rod. I don't know. It's the big crankster. And I don't crank a whole lot, but it's another thing, like if they're catching them on them, I'd like to have it. I'd be kind of pissed off if I didn't have it. But, big crankster. And now the final rod in the lineup that I'll be using for this year. Probably will change, but we have a 7.2 medium heavy glass X-Pride rod. I actually had some help picking this out at Capra's. I needed a good chatterbait rod because I didn't at all actually. I've never thrown chatterbaits. So I got a good chatterbait rod to try to help me figure out chatterbaits, which makes no freaking sense at all. But I have a chatterbait rod, 7.2 medium heavy glass. Oh, it's not glass, it's composite. So, apparently it's a good chatterbait rod. If you guys want a chatterbait rod, apparently this is the deal. Paired with a Bantam 6 gear. It's a little slow for me, but nah, it is what it is. This Bantam is amazing. Super heavy reel, which is great for this. It's like a heavier rod. Should be a great combo. Got 20-pound red label Seagar. If you guys are wondering what fluorocarbon I'm using on everything, you see fluorocarbon on my reels, it's red label Seagar. Very affordable and great line. And all the braid, all the green braid on my casting reels, that is all Power Pro. All the colored braid is 832 Suffix. The only reason that I prefer the 832 Suffix over Power Pro for my spinning reels is because the high vis green. Power Pro has some yellow, and they have high vis in the Max Quattro, I believe. But I like keeping it cheap. The 832 Suffix seems to hold its color, and its feel for a lot longer than Power Pro. If I use the regular Power Pro, it kind of dies out after a while, which not a problem. It just, I like that high vis green. That really helps a lot. But that is all my combos. That is all my rod and reels. Another season down of doing rod and reel arsenals. You guys tend to love these videos, and I like doing them too. It makes me realize that I have way too much shit. So, with that being said, this video is done. Cal K is out of here. Hope you guys can get on the water soon and go catch some fish. It's been a long winter. Catch you later.